Welcome to the Dr. Hockey Podcast. I am very excited to be here on a Tuesday afternoon. This will be going out on Thursday. This is our 80s movie night episode. This is, Jason, are you ready?
Like, for sure.
And there you go. Already hitting up with the Valley Girl. There you have it.
Great movie, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
1983, I think it came out.
Nice. Pretty good.
And they actually ate at Dupar's restaurant, which is now gone in Studio City. It was on Ventura. It's now gone. So I think it's a makeup store now. But that's where a lot of the restaurant scenes were filmed. And yeah.
Well, let's get going because this is going to be a big episode, and we have to get through some hockey because we had a conversation by text
Yes.
about the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yes.
They're doing great. They look great.
They're a team that I have to say is kind of like the dark horse of playoff teams that are playoff worthy. You don't hear much about them. They have a new coach, obviously Rod Brind'Amour.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Yeah, that's, I mean.
I think that's a big deal.
And the biggest question always is, do great players translate to great coaches? I mean, Gretzky had some trouble initially, in Phoenix or Arizona, whatever it was at the time, and so is he going to translate? Doug Weight was coaching in the Islanders.
That's
and
right.
It didn't work out.
No.
I don't think it's his fault per se, but do great players translate to great coaches? So, but Brind'Amour, listen, legend, Hall of Famer. So let's see what he can do. But he's got these guys playing, and they're a young team.
Well, they have talent.
They have
a ton of
a
talent.
lot of talent.
So,
And their first round pick from this past draft,
of course, we talked about it.
Svechnikov, whose brother plays defense for Detroit, is actually injured right now.
It always goes back to Detroit.
But-
Did you see that? Sean Gosser. Sean, are you on? I mean, do you see what he did? Like we're talking about the Hurricanes. Suddenly there's a redirect, and we're already talking about Detroit. It happened quickly. It's very quick. We were 6 sentences into the podcast. Go ahead. Back to Detroit. He
No.
couldn't help himself. There it goes.
No, I'm surprised it wasn't sooner.
Is Steve
But-
Eiserman coming? That's all. Is he going to be here tonight?
So, Svechnikov is actually doing very well. He's on the fourth line right now, but he's holding his own as a rookie, and it's nice to see. But they have a combination of veterans with Stahl and Williams, and then you mix them in with players like Aho, who was one of the players that started the week last week.
Yeah.
And again, listen, I follow hockey. I obviously follow the Wings more than the other team, but you talk about the big flashy players and the big names, Matthews, the Tavares, the Stamkos. These are the guys that, Crosby, Malkin, these are the guys that get all the attention. You don't hear much about Aho or Teravainen. You don't hear much, and they both combined for I think it was almost 60 goals last season.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Teravainen is a deadly goal scorer. He's excellent.
Over 120 points between the two of them.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty impressive, and you don't hear much really outside the crazy hockey world of the people that are in the know. You don't hear much about them.
Well, and they also have Jordan Stahl.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is
Yeah.
a veteran player.
Yeah.
He is a definite leader of this team, along with Justin Williams,
Yeah.
who really is.
Won a cup.
Yeah. I mean, this is a real team. They've got serious juice, and Jordan Stahl's been around a long while as well. He's 12 years into his career. Just to one up your Red Wings call out, Stahl of course started in Pittsburgh, won a cup there,
Yeah.
and so they've got some guys who've been there, done that. And remember, the Hurricanes have won a cup with
Yes.
Lavalette.
Yes.
Back, it was when one of our Dr. Hockey podcast guests, Oleg Tverdovsky, played for the Hurricanes, and he'd also won the cup with the Devils. So the culture of Stanley Cup is not foreign to a very young team in terms of the NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes. They look great. They could definitely make the playoffs
And
this
who's
year.
their anchor on defense? Dougie Hamilton. I mean, again,
Yeah, no, that's legit.
these guys know what it takes, and when you mix that in with some really skilled young guys, it tends to rub off on them, and
Now-
they know that the culture is there.
Has Svechnikov? How much? I have not followed his scoring. Has he put up some numbers already? He has played 6 games. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists. That's pretty decent.
Not
so,
bad.
yeah, I mean that ain't too shabby. And he's how old is this guy?
He's 19, I think.
He's born in 2000.
Yeah.
I think he's the first one. So He is 19 years
It
old.
just freaks me out that these guys could be our sons.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
they're
just-
they're
They
amazing.
could have been your sons for a while, but people born in 2000, that's just next level youngness right
Yeah.
It is. That's, even Sean Gosser feels that it's young.
Did you just bang your forehead against the glass or something in there? What was that noise? There was a thud. I don't know what that was.
Well, and so yeah, I'm glad that you brought them up because the Hurricanes.
We don't talk about them, and I think we should, because they're gonna be out there competing, and if they're, you know, come playoff time, I have a feeling they're gonna be in the playoffs, and I think they're gonna be deadly.
Well, and if okay, so if we think that that we're gonna have the Hurricanes in the playoffs, who would you trade out from last year then that's not gonna be in the playoffs?
From the East,
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence.
That
though.
wasn't-
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
coming.
I'm kind of on the fence about Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, I think Columbus
I
without
think
Seth Jones is a different team.
It's a different team, and they don't have as much on defense. I mean, you know, it's, Werenski can only do so much by himself. He does have a decent supporting cast, but that, when you take out a player like Seth Jones in his caliber, you just, it's not the same.
When is he expected back? Do we know what Seth Jones injury? Let me do a quick search because
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's back for 6
No,
weeks.
it's gonna be a while, I think, but.
I mean, he is, you know, an anchor for that team. 4 to 6 weeks, and that was September 26th. So hopefully in the
Within
next
a month
you know,
or so.
Yeah, maybe in early November. Well, we'll see. I mean, I agree with you. I think Columbus hasn't pulled it together. Bobrovsky's not playing the way that I was used to him seeing. None of the goalies, by the way, are playing the way that we expected them to. As Sean Pronger so astutely pointed out, it looks like it's the '80s again with hockey, which is great because you know there's a lot of goals to watch, but it's a different kind of game when there's the lamps getting lit up so much.
Yeah, well, and certain teams are more prone to that, and we obviously have seen that in the first couple weeks of the season.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that one game between the Capitals and the Penguins, there were 13 goals.
Right.
Happy to see that the Penguins came down on the winning side of that 13 goals, and you know we did get a.
The Wings have let in 13 or 14 goals in the last 2 games. It's
Oh,
terrible, terrible.
That's awful.
Or, no, it's more than that, I think, because I think they gave up 8 against, it's 15 goals. They gave
That's a
up
lot.
8 against Boston, and gave up, I think, 7 last night. Just,
Well, you know, it's an interesting start to the season. I mean,
Yeah.
I also had some questions about the Ducks, but they pulled out a big one the other night in St. Louis. Getzlaff out. You know, Kessler looks like he needs another 2 months on the sidelines. He's not ready, but he played and he won some faceoffs and did okay.
well, but that always begs the question, does a hurt player who's really good, obviously, but when they're hurt, are they more of a liability for the team?
I don't know. I mean, I think they would probably pull him if they thought he was, but
Or does he refuse to come out and say, I'm not going anywhere?
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
You know,
he did okay.
You know,
but
these guys, they will not sit out unless they're hemorrhaging, and even then, they'll say, patch me up and get me back out there. So.
It's true, and I just didn't see that as a smart move, but you know, what do I know? I mean, Getzlaff was out, and you've got, I think that they're seeing that Perry's gonna be gone till March. They're looking at a rough season, but with the guys they had out there, they dug it out, and they won the game. I mean, they wanted it, a non-overtime win, which was kinda cool. Cogliano scored, Silverberg had a breakaway that looked really professional. I got a second one he missed on, but you know they've got some young guys that want to score goals and they're really digging. There's a kid on there named Sherwood who is so disruptive. The defense was almost sort of annoyed that he was forechecking so hard that they couldn't. St. Louis just couldn't get it going out of their zone, and I think it made it very hard for them.
Listen,
So.
St. Louis can never get it going. I don't know what's wrong with that franchise. They just can't.
They got the firepower.
They have the firepower, and for years, they've always had really good, solid teams. They've been a tough team to play against, especially when Ken Hitchcock was coaching them. They just can't ever get over that hump, and that's something that I think probably at some point has to go back to ownership and picking the right people for the right positions and doing what they got to do for management. I don't know.
Well, I mean that's something we should bring up with Sean Pronger again because I
Yeah.
think for some reason I'm thinking that his brother Chris lives in St. Louis. I could be wrong, and I don't know if he's involved with the Blues or if he's involved with another team, but I think he's living in St. Louis now. So I'd be interested to get his perspective on, and by the way, the Paul Stastny trade at the end of the season last year.
Look what's happened now.
What?
Stastny's out 2 months.
I know, I saw that.
I mean, that's
For the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
It's hurtful.
yeah.
They're down with, they got Nate Schmidt out on a,
But see, that was the key to them last year. They did not have any major injuries either.
no.
That was the other thing that they were blessed in a sense, is that didn't factor in.
Well, Paul Stastny being out is not good for the Vegas Golden
No.
Knights, I can tell you that right now. I mean, that's some pretty major league, you know, injuries early on in the season. You know,
Which may be good in a sense. You get out of the way before playoffs and hopefully you don't get injured again.
Well,
but-
we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Getting back to our '80s movie night theme, so this is gonna be key. I think we have some guests coming in that you know are gonna be helpful in terms of now what we'll do is you know I don't know how much hockey we're gonna get to because again the only '80s hockey movie we talked about was Youngblood.
Okay, so unless it's Rob Lowe about to walk through that door, I'm gonna have to get up and imitate Reki from the movie Youngblood and say, "You want to go, pretty boy?"
There you go.
Because that was a famous line from the
Nice,
movie.
You got it.
Right?
That's awesome.
Actually, and I was very friendly with the coach, Ed Lauder, before he passed away, unfortunately. He used to work out at my gym at Pro Gym in Brentwood.
No way.
He was, legend, always a big character actor in Hollywood. You've probably seen him in a million different things. He was a super nice guy, a very sweet guy, and he unfortunately passed away a few years ago.
Oh.
But I had the pleasure of knowing him and getting to know him pretty well, and so
That's
he
cool.
had some good stories.
Well, so I will tell you this, that the movie Youngblood is connected to our actor guests that are coming
Really?
tonight in a very obscure manner. It's a really, really tough, far off hint. I mean, I think he's gonna get it. I honestly think that they're gonna walk in here. It's too bad people aren't watching this live, but it is gonna be up on YouTube. What's our YouTube channel? Is it
Hockey
youtube.com/
Dr.
Dr. Hockey Podcast? Okay. So this will be up, so you guys can watch it if you want, but everybody needs to download and subscribe. So our Instagram is @Dr. Hockey Podcast. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/Dr. Hockey Podcast. Our Twitter is @Dr. Hockey Podcast, and so is our Instagram handle. And our Facebook, I think I don't even know what's our Facebook? Is it
Dr. Hockey 90210.
Dr. Hockey 90210, because we are in the famous city of Beverly Hills right now, you know, which is also known for its hockey, all that stuff. So let's move and redirect. I think we're gonna start up on our '80s movie night here in just a minute.
I should have known it was Youngblood. But that thing came out in when did that come out? It came out in '86.
'86.
Yeah.
So,
These are just,
are they here?
no, but we had listener feedback.
Oh, oh, you have a question?
One guy said he had
They
two
wanted
questions.
to
One
tank for
was
Jack
the
Hughes.
Red Wings should tank for Jack Hughes, and another one was what do you think about who's the Red Wings coach? Blashill?
Blashill?
Blashill.
Blashill. What do you think about Blashill going forward with the Red Wings?
I have an interesting take on that if anyone actually really cares.
So where are we?
Some
We wanna wait for
guy
them?
wrote in.
Yeah, okay.
Feedback
Yeah,
for the
sure.
Red
That was
Wings
a
question.
Do you want to go on and talk about that?